ドジャースの佐々木朗希が日本時間6日、本拠地で行われたエンゼルス戦に先発出場しました。佐々木は7回を投げて2安打無失点。メジャー自己最多となる10奪三振の快投を披露。渡米後のレギュラーシーズンでは自己最速となる 100.6 マイル、約 161.9 キロを計測するなど、力強い投球でエンゼルス打線を圧倒しました。序盤から直球と変化球を効果的に使い分け、相手打線に的を絞らせない内容を展開。2安打に抑えながら要所でも崩れず、先発として試合の流れをしっかりと作りました。試合は終盤まで緊迫した投手戦となりましたが、最後はフリーマンがサヨナラ本塁打を放ち、ドジャースが劇的な勝利を収めました。試合後には、フリーマンをはじめ、ウィル・スミス捕手、ロバーツ監督ら多くの関係者が佐々木の投球を絶賛。メジャー自己最多の10奪三振を記録した右腕の快投に、チーム内外から称賛の声が相次ぎました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
And certainly no rush when you've got your other starting pitchers in this rotation. They've been holding it down with the #1 ERA among all starting staffs in baseball. The most strikeouts among any starting staff as well so far here in 2026. But Blake, I want to ask you about one of those guys in the rotation right now, the guy who's pitching tonight. Roki Sasaki has seemed like a completely different guy over his last 3 starts compared to his first start of the year when he admitted that he had no confidence out there on the mound. So from your perspective, what have you seen from Roki over the last few starts?
I think the splitters kind of really set him apart. You know, you had the slider and let's say the slower splitter, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think that, you know, it made it more difficult on him. I think now that he has a splitter with a little more speed, there's more separation in the pitches. It's kind of freed him up to be more confident and you know, attack. I don't see the same pitcher I saw at the beginning of the year and last year. You know, very timid, scared, and you know, and that's a normal thing. You know, everyone expected him to come here and dominate right off the bat. That's just so much pressure and so much, you know, such a high expectation. You know, you want everyone to do that, but when you come to this league, it takes a couple years to really learn and understand, you know, how to succeed in this league. So he learned a lot last year, and to see what he's doing right now is very encouraging, and it's exciting for what he's going to be. So there's still more for him to learn and to grow and adapt. I mean, you know, I'm almost 10 years in and I'm still learning and growing. I think he's doing a great job, and he's going to put himself in a good place by the end of the season.
All right. So it's only year 3 in Dodger blue for Shohei Ohtani, but it feels like he's been a Dodger forever in a lot of ways, Jerry. I have to remind myself that, yeah, he spent 6 years playing on the other side for the Angels, and Shohei's really enjoyed tormenting his former team. He's hitting over 350 with 5 bombs in 13 games against them.
Well, he's very familiar with a lot of the guys that he's faced the last 3 years, so he knows their tendencies, knows what they like to do, and he has taken advantage of it. So, listen, success against just about every team. And remember, when he goes to Anaheim, he's very familiar with that ballpark. So he has done a great job at Anaheim and obviously here at Dodger Stadium. This guy we talked about earlier, he is starting to reach that Michael Jordan-esque type athlete.
When you are with another team, if you get traded, signed for, we talk and say this all the time. When you have success at a particular stadium, and that was your home field for a while, and you look forward to going back there and you have another success because you're confident, you're comfortable, just this feeling, the surroundings it comes back to. Well, Shohei has been over there in Anaheim, so he's very familiar and had success. And obviously, when you're here at Dodger Stadium, we've seen the success he had. This is his new home. He has embraced it. He's done it. And, man, it seems like he's even taken to witnessing that and watching that.
All right, let's continue with that, Bobby V. When you look at the Dodger lineup, you can't look past Shohei Ohtani, hitting .438 since May the 12th. That's tops in all of baseball. How do you pitch to a guy like Ohtani?
Low and away and slow and away. Yeah, that's it. Buzz him up top, and you have a chance of getting him out low and away. But, you know, he's great. That he's playing great right now should be a surprise. to no one.
Yeah, I mean, you remember for a while there, they weren't having to be two-way Shohei. You know, he wasn't hitting when he was pitching. Now he's back to doing both, and he is really swinging the bat. Really started when he was in Anaheim at the Big A, when he had some big at-bats late in that game, and all of a sudden he's taken off. And batting average now over 300, 301. He was about 240, 250 when he was down at the Big A, but he's a guy you still have to throw fastballs in off the plate, like Bobby said. That opens up that outer half. If he's able to get his arms extended, it'll be a difficult night against him.
6 for 13 with 7 RBI last time he faced the Angels in that series back at the Big A. Gooby, I'm going to stay with you as you talk about Roki Sasaki on the hill tonight. His fastball, a little bit of an uptick there. He's had a really good May.
Yeah, he really has. He's throwing a lot more strikes. Before there was a walk as part of his game, he's throwing a lot more. He's got a splitter and a forkball. Usually when you think of one, you don't think of both he'll throw. One's a little bit harder, a little different grip than the other. Also will throw a slider, but still, his fastball is the one pitch that you have success if you're a hitter against him. So if it's the first pitch he throws fastball or somewhere during the count, be ready to hit the fastball. Those other two splitter forkball combos are real difficult to hit.
Yeah, I think the stats will show that he throws both pitches, but I watched him this last couple times he's pitched. I think it's just the split. I think he got rid of the total forkball where your fingers are totally spread and you don't have the feel. I think now with the split coming off that top finger, he has control of that, and he's also throwing a pretty good slider of late.
Last time against the Angels, he went 7 innings of 1-run baseball and 8 strikeouts. Scooby, what are your go-to?
Well, I'm going to go right back to what you have to do against his fastball. When you think about numbers, to square up the four-seamer, a .319 batting average with 6 home runs versus his four-seam fastball. So you got to be ready. Like I said, if it's the first pitch, don't worry about working counts, but also get into better hitters counts. Hitters are hitting .393 when they're ahead of the count against them. So when you're behind against them, you're in the hundreds. So you got to make sure you work counts, get yourself into fastball counts, and that's when you're able to be successful against.
Wow, Roki Sasaki pitching for the Dodgers has retired all 6 Angels to start this game. It goes off the glove of Sasaki. Rojas trying to save it, and he is safe on the field. I think it's going to
be challenged also here. That's an unbelievable play, an unbelievable play. I mean, it's so hard when a baseball is redirected like that.
I mean,
barehanded too, an off-balance throw. Yeah, they're going to challenge.
At first base, the Los Angeles Dodgers have challenged.
I think he's out.
Yeah. I mean, even just to make it close was amazing by Rojas. On the run on a redirect, Madrigal's got decent speed.
Yeah, he's definitely out on that one. That's that stretch. Freddie Freeman, too. That's the reason why that's an out.
You know, for all the love the middle infielders get defensively, that's a pretty good first base play.
That's, yeah, unbelievable play. He's a Gold Glover at first base, too, at Freddie Freeman. Still out there all these years flexible.
The field is overturned. Runner is out.
I mean, this was an incredible play.
I mean, that was hit pretty hard, too, back up the middle. I think he would have been in position anyhow, Rojas, to field that ground ball up the middle, but it's his normal reaction as a pitcher.
Roki fired up about it.
Roki Sasaki's retired the first 6 that he's faced. Nick Madrigal leads off the 3rd for the Angels. He went 2 years between games in the majors. Came up more than a week ago and coming off a 4-hit game, making an instant impact. It ricochets off his glove. There's no way. Oh my goodness. So close. How in the world was it even that? Sasaki to Rojas. And then bang, bang at first, but safe for an infield hit.
I want him to go to review just so we get to see it over and over again.
You're going to get your wish. There's no way. Did he possibly do it?
Oh, he's out.
Oh, my gosh.
He's out. He's out, and it's a lifetime highlight for Miggy Rowe.
Another?
Another. Just tell everybody this is a playoff.
Let's go.
Tell me it's not a beautiful game.
Wow, and the stretch from Freddie.
World-class athletes at their best. Why are you going to retire?
That's, look at rushing.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. Runner is out. Los Angeles Dodgers retain their talent.
Wouldn't it be funny if Dan Iasoni was like, the call on the field is overturned, runner is out. That was insane. Turns out, adds a little color there. Wow.
That's one of the best 1-4-3 outs you'll ever see.
Rojas playing it cool, but he has to be thinking to himself, how in the world did I just do that?
I mean, to get rid of it that quick, to barehand it initially, and then to throw it accurately, and it got there in enough time. You know, usually we're just in awe of the athletic ability and the way they move out there, and then that throws kind of up the line or towards right field, and you go, wow, what an attempt. But to finish it off and get the review and the out, that's a topper.
Another 0-2. And another strikeout for Roki Sasaki. 10 for the first time in his career. Sasaki arriving tonight. Sasaki over there by Travis Smith, the strength coach, who's played a big role in Roki's turnaround. Jack Harris for the California Post wrote a piece about their relationship and the work that's gone in. Roki's listed at 187. That's what he was when he arrived, but he's up to 205. Just time on task in the weight room. Year and a half now of working with Travis. Travis is saying that Roki bought in slowly, as has been the case with a lot of the coaching, a lot of the resources the Dodgers have. Roki's taking his time, bringing those into what he does. But Travis said once he realized he could push some load in the weight room and not have it affect him negatively pitching and his delivery, he's bought in fully. If you see that jump in velocity, yeah, part of it's mechanical, but part of it, he's just bigger and generates more force.
You know, after a great outing, if that's the guy he's sitting next to, how close that relationship is.
Yeah, you can just see it over there. Travis doesn't speak a ton of Japanese. Roki doesn't speak a ton of English, but they meet in the middle enough where they can make each other smile like that.
That relationship might last a long time with what we saw on the mound tonight. That was way more than potential.
First walk-off loss yesterday. They're looking for a walk-off win to bounce back from. 3-2 to Freddie Freeman. In the air to right center field. Back goes Trout with a down at the wall. It only takes one, and Freddie Freeman provides it. Freddie Freeman ends the 0-0 pitcher's duel with a solo shot. A walk-off home run in the 9th inning.
It took a while, but it was worth the wait. Sasaki got it started with an outstanding outing, probably the best outing of his career. And we've seen this ending before from Freddie Freeman.
His 20th career walk-off hit is a home run against Kirby Yates, ending a thriller of a ball game. These are the best counts.
It was a nail-biter all the way through with the pitcher's duel, and a ridiculous finish there at the end with Freddie's. That swing is gorgeous. He opens it up every once in a while when he gets the right pitch. He'll go to right field. He was late on a fastball that pitched before, probably staying back for some off speed, but then one more up heater, and he plants it.
Let's go down to Kirsten.
Thank you, Joe. Obviously, there's a very familiar face in Kirby Yates on the mound, but for you to get to him. I know it felt good just beating up on an old friend, but also what were you seeing from the plate that allowed you to get that swing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously against Kirby, it's, you give him a little smile right before, and then you go to work. I missed a 3-1 fastball, and thank you. Against Kirby, you got to look up because of his splitter. So I was looking up, trying not to swing at the splitter, and luckily I was able to get a fastball up.
Does hearing these Freddie chants, does this ever get old for you?
No, it never gets old. I love it. I appreciate it. it's awesome. The fans come out every single night and support us, so we really, really do appreciate it. Glad we got the win.
This obviously was a close one. We can call it a pitcher's duel, but Roki Sasaki described just what he was doing on the mound today.
Yeah, for the last, 4 or 5 starts, he's been incredible. He's got his 100-mile-an-hour heater, splitters at 92, 93. Glad he's on our side. He's been incredible. But pitcher's duel, Reed was great on the other side, but bullpen came and shut it down and gave us a chance.
Freddie, congratulations on this win.
Thank you, Kirsten.
As the Dodgers get their 3rd walk-off win of the season, their 8th shutout win of the season. Really, the story on the pitching side was Roki Sasaki absolutely dominant for 7 scoreless innings, a career-high 10 strikeouts. We saw some phenomenal defense as well. And Jerry, on a night where the Dodgers offense looked kind of tired out there, and it was Freddie to the rescue, his 20th career walk-off hit.
Dodgers were walk-off winners.
Yeah, they may be dragging him, and when you think about it, you had a 4-game set over there in Arizona. It was a night game. You know, just because when it ends doesn't mean they're jumping on the plane right away. You know, it takes time to get on the plane and then get here. So they're probably way after midnight when they land and then get home and then get ready for today. So yeah, it is natural. We've been there many times where you're naturally starting to drag and you're looking for something. And that something was actually Roki Sasaki, because he was not dragging. He went out there, really set the tone. The bullpen did an excellent job. And then you needed that one big hit by Freddie Freeman coming in and picking up the team. But really, it was all about the pitching staff today.
Yeah, and it was certainly about Roki Sasaki. We talked about the starting pitcher setting the tone, and we talked on the pregame show, Nomar, about how impressive he's been over his last 3 starts, and he keeps taking another step forward, and tonight was another huge one for him. 7 scoreless innings on just 2 hits with those 10 Ks.
Yeah, the 10 Ks, you know, he had that fastball working again. He was also dotting that really well. I saw a lot of taking strike 3 on the fastball, which tells you that they weren't just sitting on the fastball. They were looking at other pitches, which tells you the other pitchers were really working, keeping them on their toes, and then being able to dot that fastball. So he went out there once again. It looked like he had the confidence in his pitches, in himself, to go out there and attack hitters. Had a couple of walks, okay, but even when he really needed those big pitches, when they had opportunities with runners in scoring position, he buckled down and got through it.
I love the differences of the split and forkball. He had different of those pitches, making sure he kept the Angels honest. Split fork. Fastball was outstanding. When you have fastball command with that velocity to go along with the breaking ball split, tough to deal with. You saw it in his face. That confidence is there. We talk about a guy pitching with conviction. That's what we've seen out of Roki Sasaki. Now we're starting to see, remember that Roki guy we saw during the postseason? Yeah. That confidence, that look in his eye like, hey, this is my best stuff. I'm going to go out and see if he can hit it. He's starting to now have that look and that fire as a starting pitcher. It is so fun to watch him mature as that starter, and I love the fact they ran him out there for the 7th inning. Yeah. Brother, go out there. We have confidence in you. Yeah. Go finish a little bit of that 6th inning. Make sure you go out the 7th inning and still see the dominance that he has. Love that they have confidence in him. And Roki Sasaki is definitely ascending.
Outstanding pitchers duel tonight. Dodgers with the Freddie Freeman walk-off homer, win it 1-0. Let's set it upstairs. Check in one final time with Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser.
What a game this was. These are my favorite kinds of games, the low-scoring pitchers duels, and it ends in a walk-off home run from Freddie Freeman. I don't know where we start, though. Do we start with Freeman or do we start with Sasaki?
I'm going to start with Sasaki because just the way he's dominated the Angels. He's had 2 outings against them. They've hit 128 off of him. He had 25 batters faced today. Okay, listen to this. 9 at 0-2 counts. That's ridiculous. When he's going out there like this now, you got Yamamoto going tomorrow. This youngster said, hey, vet, follow me.
Good luck matching that. I know he's Yamamoto World Series MVP, but that's as good as it gets. We saw from Sasaki.
Consistency you're seeing this week.
I mean, I wish I had an exact answer. You know, sometimes you just go through stretches where you just feel good. Obviously, I've been feeling good lately. You know, I was tweaking a lot of things early on, just trying to find a consistent feel for things, and sometimes it's just get a couple hits and you get some confidence and get going. So nothing really crazy. It's the same routine and some soft line drives at the shortstop, and you know, things have been working.
Freddie, when you think about
the way Roki pitched, the defense tonight, and then of course ending the game the way you did. How much did this feel just like a complete Dodgers win?
Yeah, that was. I mean, as an offense, the last couple of games we'd like to score more runs than we have, but sometimes it's a tough couple of days. Great pitching. Reed was great on the other side. Roki has been. He's been amazing for about a month now. Ever since that heater got up to 100, his splitter at 92, 93, it's special. He's got the confidence going. He's got the stuff. He just looks great out there. Bullpen was great and gave us a chance to, win the game at the end. And hopefully we can score more than one run tomorrow.
With Roki, how much more comfortable does he look than this time last year or even a year ago?
Yeah, I would love to, what click for him or whatever, or maybe just becoming more comfortable here. Now it just feels like every time we run out there, we're going to get a start like this. It's really cool as a team to feel like every guy that goes out there, you get a chance to throw up a game like this. And Roki's really turned the corner here, and it's fun to watch, especially after last year. Grinding, coming back as a bullpen guy, and then doing this, and now finding his footing and being a dominant starter. It's pretty cool.
How difficult of a play is McGee's play earlier on in the game?
There was a lot of difficult plays tonight. That was a lot of good defense plays. Santiago's diving play in the hole, just a lot of good stuff. Mickey's play when it hits off a pitcher, you're already going committed to one way, and then you got to make another. The little guy still got it.
Freddie, is your confidence even higher now when you come up in walk-off situations like that?
It's always been pretty high. It doesn't change. Just when you face Kirby, you got to look up. Fastball splitters. If you look down, you're probably going to chase the splitter. So, I had a nice game plan going into it, looking up, and I was able to get a pitch.
Is the version of Roki that you're seeing now similar to kind of what
we expected? Heard? Yeah, I don't know if you can expect. It's hard to expect. Okay, like. He's coming from a whole other country. He's got to figure this out, and it's not what I would say we expected. It's what we heard, and then when you feel comfortable and confident, then you can start to expect things. And when you keep putting back-to-back starts like he's been doing, that's when the expectations kind of come along with it, which is another avenue that he's got to deal with. So it's what we heard, and to see it coming to fruition here at the biggest of stages, I'm just happy for him, because it's a tough transition. I couldn't imagine myself going to another country and doing what these guys are doing. So I'm just happy for him.
Have you seen his demeanor change as he's gotten?
He's always been the same. Just humble guy walking through here, always smiling. I'm just glad. I'm just happy for him that he's pitching well.
Have you been surprised just how quickly it changed? I mean, it was just last start that he was dialing up 100 for the first time.
Yeah, but I mean, you could see I think a couple starts even before that, you could start to see the fastball was ticking up. The splitters were going. It's almost like when he stopped throwing the 82, 83 mile an hour splitter. When he started throwing the harder one is when things started to change for him. So. Just like us as hitters, you got to find tweaks sometimes, and he found his tweak and he's taken off.
Well, obviously there's been so much talk about Roki Sasaki, but with what we saw tonight, the 10 strikeouts, just for you personally receiving the ball, what have you seen as just the biggest difference in him when it comes to how he's executing his pitches?
Yeah, he's executing. He's getting ahead of guys. He's putting guys away with 2 strikes. His pitches are kind of developing and getting better. He's been pitching really well for us right now, and that's just his hard work. His continued growth, and getting a little more confidence.
He's added, whether the pitch he added this offseason, and kind of make an adjustment to the forkball / splitter. How are you seeing just the confidence develop within those, and how quickly they've come along?
Yeah. I feel like each bullpen, gets a little better. And obviously, each start he gains some momentum and some confidence, and goes out, competes, gives us good starts, and it's been fun.
Has that harder splitter kind of opened up with the rest of his arsenal?
I think you just can control it a little better, so it's in the zone a little more. It makes it a little bit harder for hitters to check off it.
Well, prior outings, especially early in the season, it would seem like Roki was a little timid against hitters. He came out in the 7th at a time where Dave Roberts said he'd like to push him and continue to attack hitters the way that we saw all game long. Have you noticed a change in that demeanor?
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, after the postseason last year, he's been pretty confident when he's been going out there. It's just finding its success. That's what he's been doing this year. He's been throwing pretty hard all year, I feel like. I think his command is just a lot better. He's getting to the right sides of the plate, elevating at times, putting it down at times, just getting in good counts.
Well, you saw him obviously take his lumps earlier this year. Just from that standpoint, just how happy are you to see him have the success he's had recently?
Yeah, it's great. He's in there every day working, trying to get better. You can see the care factor, the drive he's got. So it's good. It's good to see the benefits right now.
Roki, tonight you had 10 strikeouts, a new career high. When you look at just the performance that you're having right now on the mound, is this a culmination of all the work you've put in recently just to get to this point?
今10三振で初めての、投球なんですけれども、今できているこの結果というのは今まで取り組んできたことすべてがうまく噛み合ってできたような結果ですか。
そうですね。オフから続けてきたことを、その後の、シーズン中の試行錯誤も含めて、徐々に、結果として現れてきているかなと思います。
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of things from the off season and also making adjustment in season 2. So I feel like everything kind of come together right now.
This was your second time seeing them in essentially a month. What did you take from your last outing that helped you at this one tonight?
今回2回目のレンジェスの対戦になると思うんですけど、何かその前回から得たというか、気にしてよかった点というの。
そうですね。前回の試合で投げたなんていうんですか、配球だったりそういうところも、加味して今日の試合に臨んだので、ビルも、ピッチングコーチもうまくリードしてもらえたかなと思ってます。
Yeah, last game against Angels, I pretty did a good job and I learned from the sequencing, so I pretty much use the same sequence today and stick to it.
You said last week that you're finally able to pitch like you again. What does that look like? What does that open up for your confidence going forward?
前回でその自分らしい投球ができたというようなことがあったと思うんですけど、何かそのきっかけというか、それが広がったような要因はあるんでしょうか。
本当に積み重ねてきたことと、あとは最後少し合わせてるいろんな試行錯誤をした上でなんていうんですかね、ちょっと微調整しただけなので、基本的にやってることは変わらないですし、ただ思ったところに、思ったボールが行くようになった分、ある程度自分のペースに投げれたりだとか、配球っていうのもどんどんリズムよくなってくるのかなと思います。
Yeah, I'm actually building up something. I'm making small adjustment all the time. I think that because of that, everything kind of put together, and then so. And also, when I do that, I find a good rhythm out there, so that kind of keep me going.
Roki, how much do you feel your confidence growing each start, and how much is that helping you?
自信がそれぞれのゲームでどれぐらいついてきていますか。
そうですね。パフォーマンスも春先よりも上がってきているので、そこに関してはすごくストレートも、ゾーンに思い切っていきますし、思い切っていってもある程度構えたところに行くようになったので、そこら辺は投げてて違うかなとは思いますけど、目指しているものは常に一緒なので、目の前の結果に左右されずに、積み重ねていけたらなと思っています。
Yeah, obviously I got better compared to last spring training. Also I feel like I'm being really doing a good job on my, stuff that I've been doing. So yeah, I'm just doing small things all the time that I just keep building on it.
Talking to Freddie, he was talking about how the Roki Sasaki we're seeing now, that was the guy that the players had heard about. When you think about just Roki when he came over from Japan, is this version of him and who he is on the mound, confidence, obviously using his stuff, full pitch mix, is this the guy that you kind of heard about as well or seeing right now?
This is the guy that we saw in video in Japan, and that we hope to get. I think that we were all guilty of expecting it to be seamless, and certainly unfair to Roki, and not appreciating that there has to be some transition period, and he's went through some tough times and some doubts. But he's gotten to the other side, and a lot of support in the clubhouse, and I think he's feeling that. He's put in a lot of work himself. He's a lot more physical. The stuff is really playing well. We talk about that split, and the split now, ironically, is kind of to the velocity that it used to be in Japan. And so there is an adjustment with the ball that he had to make with his grip with the split, but now it's 90, 91, and yeah, it's just, and you can see his demeanor on the mound, just real confidence, and it's good to see him get through 7 innings tonight the way he did.
Is there an example of how you're now seeing it hit a consistent pace and just he's building with each outing, not only getting better, but you're just seeing a consistency
Yes, yeah. Every time, I think, certainly now, I think we can all agree that the floor for Roki is much higher, and the expectation every time he takes the ball is high, and he's earned that. And I think if you look at the last 6 or 7 starts, it's been as good as any starter in the big leagues in the consistency of performance. So really proud of him. And I know that he wants for more, and the floor has just been raised. Now it's just continue to raise that ceiling.
Dave, Roki's a pretty reserved guy, but I don't know if you saw in the 5th inning after he struck out Frazier, kind of beat his chest once. What does that say about how confident, how comfortable he is in his own skin?
It's good. I love to see the emotion tempered. It was a big out. He threw a good pitch to get the strikeout. And I like the way that he had emotion but didn't go over the top and exert, more energy. And so knowing that there was more baseball to play. So, but to see that was good to see.
Dave, this version of Sasaki, does it remind you, you talk about his mound presence, does it remind you of anybody you've seen before?
I don't know. I think that he's a hard kind of comp because of the age. He doesn't remind me of any Japanese players, so I can't say, like a Darvish or a Hideo. There's a lot of young players that have come that you could start to see more confidence after they get hit in the mouth. Robo in a different way has kind of similar in that sense. I think even, Emmett, when he was scuffling, you see the look in the eye versus now the confidence of feeling like he is the best option when he's out there. I saw from Yamamoto a couple years ago, once he kind of got his bearings on Major League Baseball. But this has been a really good one because we saw it where it was really, we all felt sorry for him and sad for him. And now he's like arrived as an adult and a Major League player and real confident player.
During that time when he was kind of getting kicked in the teeth and stuff, and honestly, a lot of times his body language afterwards was really bad. At what point did you kind of think, was there something that told you, you know what, he's going to get through this and he's going to come out on the other side of it, or?
I do think that the last year in the postseason on the biggest stage to pitch some big outs, to rebound from that, tough year was one part of it. And then I don't know what point this year in April where he sort of just said enough is enough. But I do think that split changed his trajectory too. The profile of his pitch mix. That's you just can't ignore that either.
As we're looking back inside Dodger Stadium, let's break down the pitching. I would almost equate it as a heavyweight matchup by Sasaki and Detmers. What a pitching performance by both pitchers. Both had no hitters at one point in this game. Both only gave up 2 hits, and both threw shutout baseball. It was Sasaki 7 shutout innings, Detmers 6 shutout innings. On the other side of the ledger, it was Roki Sasaki, and we mentioned the last outing against the Halos. He was very, very good with 8 strikeouts. He would be almost one better here tonight. He had a no-no through 4. The first hit would be by Nick Madrigal, top of the 5th inning. He'd go 7 shutout innings, a career high, 10 strikeouts on 98 pitches.
Talking about development, you're seeing that if you're a Dodger fan. He threw 9 pitches in this game, and I said that's the best he's thrown it since he's been in America. Went into the press box and said you might see a no-hitter the way his ball was moving. But again, like Reed, throwing his breaking ball early for strikes to have his fastball be devastating at the end, and then having that split finger in his back pocket.
Of the 10 Ks, 6 of those strikeouts coming off of that splitter, Bobby V. So definitely that was something that you pointed out in the pregame show, and that certainly held itself throughout the course of this game as we take our first time out here on Angels Live.
Freddie Freeman obviously has been clutch for them for a very long time, but what'd you see with the final pitch there from Yates?
Yeah, looked like it was, middle up, and he put a good swing on it. Really nothing you can do, put a good swing on it. You guys been a good hitter for a long time.
This pitching was obviously the story, the starting pitching, obviously. What did you see from Reed as he's able to take down the best lineup?
Yeah, I thought he was attacking good with his fastball, throwing strikes, making him, swing the bat, and, I thought he was good the whole night. It wasn't a time where I felt like he was pitching, nibbling. He was attacking, pounding the zone with everything that he had, and that was one of the best games I've seen him pitch.
Was there a conversation to send him back out there for another inning?
A little bit, but I think it was more like he did his job. 90 pitches, and we felt like that was good for him, and turned it to the bullpen, was fully rested.
What did you see from just the offense tonight? They had bats, and Sasaki was pretty good, but what did you kind of see?
Yeah, he was tough, man. I mean, the guy was sitting 98. I haven't seen him pitch like this, ever. He was sitting 98, 99, 100, and with the nasty split and slider. And from what it looked like, he was pretty much on the rails too at night, especially. All night, especially 2 strikes, and he was executing his pitches. And sometimes you just gotta tip your hat to the other side pitcher.